Brad Underwood, you're a nerd. DP, what do you
Brad
think?
So
Brad
fast, my
Underpants.
friend.
The game is
Shout
Thursday
out
night
Lee
at 10
Corso.
o'clock
Mackie,
Eastern,
you
by the
just
way.
ruined that whole entire thing, dude. You just ruined that whole entire thing.
What's up, guys? Beanie Boys back. Hope you guys had a good Christmas, everything like that. All of us rocking new beanies, so you know that we all asked for a couple, But we want to wish you guys Happy New Year as well. It's coming up here. But yeah, we had a lot of good stuff happen this weekend, boys. I mean, looking over our bowl games, I did horrible. I went 1-2. I really thought Colorado was going to win that game, and BYU actually just destroyed them. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Mac, you threw in the script here. We're going to be going over the South Carolina Illinois game and the Michigan Bama game. But first, guys, what do we think about this South Carolina Illinois matchup? I mean, John, what do you think?
You know, SEC, Big Ten, Illinois to me all year, they've kind of been fraudulent. But as we were talking about earlier, like Mackie said, every time he counts Illinois out, it seems like they decide to show up and somehow compete with these big dogs. But all in all, I think South Carolina will win this game, although a lot of the underdogs in these bowl games have been winning. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I think, all around the SEC team, Sellers is just a better quarterback than what's the Illinois quarterback? Oh, what's his name?
Luke Altmaier.
Luke
Oh, yeah.
Altmaier. Yep, that's it. So I think Sellers all around, he's a Heisman favorite going into next year. I don't know if you guys have looked at the odds on that, but I think all around Beamer and the boys win this game pretty comfortably.
DP?
Yeah, I'm with John here 100%. I mean, Illinois has kind of messed around with some Big Ten teams that they shouldn't have, throughout most of the year. And I think that, Sellers just runs away with this game. I think South Carolina owns this team probably by 21 plus. I just don't think Illinois belongs on the field with this team.
Mac?
I threw this in here because I do actually think it's going to be a better game than everyone thinks. On one side of the argument, you're going to make the case. Obviously, Seller's the Heisman favorite going into next year, and I would probably lay some coin because the kid's just a stud. I don't know what else to say about him. If you haven't watched him play, take this time to watch him play. But Illinois, I think they're scrappy, and I think they'll make this game a little closer than we all think, especially when you realize South Carolina might not be as motivated in this game because they felt they should have been in the playoff. So can go both ways. Either they're not going to be as hyped up for it because it's not a playoff game, or they're going to come out and they're going to try to make a statement.
Yeah, good. You got something else to add?
Typical, another SEC team not motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah, story of the year.
Story of the year. But Mac, I like what you threw out there. I think that that could be a key point there that the SEC team might not be motivated just because they're not in this big bowl under the lights. But I do got South Carolina by a pretty heavy margin. Obviously, I mean, I search on Twitter for all opt outs, and I can like it's always a thorough search. I'm not sure who's all not playing on both sides of the ball, but ultimately, I take second string SEC over second string Big Ten, unless you're playing for Ohio State or Oregon, really. But going on to the second game, Michigan, Bama. Now, I'll be honest. I actually think that this one is going to be a good game. I think Michigan's going to try to slow down the game, run the ball, and ultimately just piss Bama off by getting 4 yards of carry the entire game. I do think Bama's going to win, but I do think that this game, I don't know, what's this? Do we know the spread on this game? Mac, you know the spread?
13 and a half, maybe.
13 and a half?
Yeah, 13 and a half to the Tide, over under 42 and a half. Vegas doesn't think Michigan can score. And to be honest with you, they're probably right.
Yeah, but I think Michigan's going to hold their own here. I think they're going to run the ball. And yeah, I think Michigan does I think they cover that spread, but I got Alabama probably by 13 to be honest.
There is a slight public lean money wise to Michigan covering, and there's a heavy sharp money lean towards the under. So I don't know how this coexists in your guys' opinion. I would think that if the under hits, Michigan covers.
Yeah, for sure. John, what do you think on this one, buddy?
Yeah, kind of what Mackie said. Michigan's still got a good defense. I'm not sure if Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham are playing in this game or not, but at the end of the day, you got Milrow and then against a very good Michigan defense, two storied programs. Anytime you see Michigan and Bama on a field, people are going to tune into this game, but talent-wise, it's probably not close. But I do agree with you guys. I could see a low-scoring 20-7, 20-13 type of game. So all in all, though, it's Michigan, it's Alabama. So hopefully it's a good football game. And I mean, we're due for some of these bowl games to get really good outside of these playoffs, especially in the New Year's games here coming up. So fired up for
Yeah,
those. And hopefully Alabama rolls them because I hate Michigan and I hate Dave Portnoy.
kind of like what John said. Game wise, and talent wise, I don't think this matchup's close. I don't think it'll be a very pretty football game to watch, but anytime you get these two programs on the field, it's worth tuning into, especially when you consider that's just an appetizer for the Penn State Boise game at night.
I love it, Mackie. DP, what do you think on this game?
Yeah, I think these two teams played in this exact game, however many years ago it was. Might have been the name of the bowl game might have been a little bit different as they change seemingly every year.
Yeah.
They did,
But
I can tell you that. They did
but
three
I
years
actually
ago.
think it was the Citrus Bowl. I think that's what
Yeah.
it was called
Yeah,
at
it
the time.
was.
To me, for this game, really look for Jalen Milroe to have a showing out party for where he's going to transfer to. I think his name is big, going to be big coming in the portal. And I think he's going to play the entire game, not opt out like Cam Ward. Thanks for blowing your
Yeah,
275
Jesus.
passing and the Miami loss. But look for the Jalen Milroe show in this game.
Milroe transferring?
He might
Where are you going to go better than Bama, kid?
somewhere that's not 9-3.
He's going to Duke. Get him at Duke.
Is he coming to Columbus?
No,
I'll take him in Columbus. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
That kid's a stud.
He's all right. He's all right. More of a running back, right, Mac? But
Yeah,
anyways,
he's got arm talent though.
yeah. Like I said at the beginning, guys, we picked 3 games for you. BYU, Colorado, Iowa State, Miami, and my lord, my memory is so bad. What was the other game?
BYU, Colorado.
I said that.
Um,
Mac, what was the third game that we talked about last week?
Vandy, Georgia Tech.
Vandy, Georgia
Vandy.
Tech. Yeah. So honestly, I mean, I didn't get to tune in much to this BYU Colorado game, but the other 2 games I watched, and the Iowa State Miami game went the way I thought. Just a plain shootout. I wasn't aware, like you said, we were talking earlier. I wasn't aware that Ward was only playing one half of the game. But ultimately, guys, I mean, I said it. I mean, Pavia, that kid is a stud. I mean, I watched that start to finish in that game actually. Both teams just so good. I was kind of irritated when it went into that rain delay. Thought we were going to see some 49ers Ravens action of somehow Georgia Tech coming back and winning this game. But I love Pavia, and I'm so happy to see that Vanderbilt team win. What do you think, DP?
Yeah, 5 total touchdowns out of Pavia. And I mean, for all you Spanish speaking listeners, I don't know if you saw the call on Twitter in Mexico. The guy was electric on one of Pavia's touchdown runs. It was actually something crazy. It was almost like the goal guy, but it was dude, it was absolutely electric.
That's sick.
But yeah, I mean Clark Lee, great coach. Obviously he was at Notre Dame, so I always love to see him do well. And Pavia thinks that these guys can win the national championship next year. I don't know how much about that, but they are not. I mean, they're not terrible.
No, and they have him for another year now.
Yes, he is
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
So
Diego Pavia must have been hanging out with Johnny Manziel doing some of the drugs that he was doing in college because this guy's crazy if he thinks he's winning a national championship. He is good, but he's also got to realize he's at Vanderbilt here.
yeah, but John, which one of these games really impressed you the most?
Miami, Iowa State. That game was electric. It was probably the best bowl game of the bowl season so far because even like the playoff games were blowouts. So this game was high scoring. It was electric. I think we were golfing and we look at the score and it's 28-21 and it's still in the second quarter. I'm like, holy cow! The live over was at 91.5. But just all around, great football in that game. Cam Ward, heck of a career, heck of a college football career. He's going to be a superstar at the next level. And Iowa State, showed up. They put points on the board, and neither team had a defense, just like all year. So,
Yeah.
but that to me was the best game of the weekend. And poor by Colorado, boys. Poor. I have no words for it. I mean, I did not two top 3 picks on the same team, and you're going to go out like that in your college career. I'll be honest, pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
Pretty pathetic. BYU is still fraudulent, and that'll continue on into next year until as long as they have that coach. Because I mean, dude, he's ugly. I can't stand him. He's annoying and he's arrogant and he's cocky. And I actually hate BYU. I hate BYU.
All right, Mac. Hey, which one of these games really impressed you the most, Mac?
Yeah, well, I didn't really get to watch much of the Tech Vandy game. Shout out to one of my coworkers, won't name names, decided to tattle on me for having the game on my phone to the boss. Keep being a
That's
complete, yeah,
that's
keep being a
sad.
complete nerd, total nerd. But whatever. It
That's
is what it is.
hilarious.
Whatever is what it is. It didn't look like I missed much other than Pavia putting it to him. I was pretty surprised about the outcome there. Iowa State, Miami was good. To be honest with you, I was in Nashville this weekend, as you guys know, was already hitting Broadway and didn't even realize they took Cam Ward out at half. He definitely just wanted to play so he could break the D1 pass touchdowns record from Case Keenum. But you know what? I applaud him. I applaud Travis Hunter, and I applaud Shadur. Good on them for playing. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mac. Obviously superstars like that, they usually opt out for the obvious reasons of trying not to get hurt. You know what I mean? And like I said, I hate Deion Sanders, but I really do respect making Shadur play this game. It kind of eased off the tension that I have for him because I respect that. But DP, do you have anything else to say about this Colorado BYU game?
Yeah, not me. Go Go Cougs. I'm so glad that this team lost. I mean, this was great. Way to go out in your last collegiate game throwing for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. End of an era in Boulder. Never had a top 25 win. Hang the banner in Boulder. I mean,
$25 million signing bonus.
what do you want me to
Both of them.
say about that?
$25 million signing bonus
That's
for both
fine.
of them.
Go 9-4 every year.
9-4.
They were 13-12 in 2 years together. Have fun.
They
Yeah.
really flew Miss Peggy out for that game too.
Yeah.
All to get beat by 40.
Yeah.
Dion, did you guys fly Southwest back? Because you guys flew private there.
private.
You guys said
You
that
had
you lost. Have fun.
Yeah, you had a PJ there, nerd.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna be awesome when Dion goes 2-10 next year.
yeah, exactly. But we're switching it up to college hoops. Our favorite segment, mine.
Dang, we usually start with college hoops.
I
We're
know
switching
we
it up
switched-
a little
I
bit.
know we switched it up a little bit today. But Mackie, you threw in here Nebraska wins the Diamond Head Classic. So I wanna hear your thoughts on about it. I didn't get to tune in too much to college hoops. It was pretty much work and college football. So give me some insight on this game.
So, I mean, obviously, Diamond Head Classic's the only multi-team event around Christmas time here every year. They're changing it to Thanksgiving next year. It's a good way to kill your tournament. Loved having all eyes on this tournament during Christmas. And Nebraska came in and they just kind of ran right through everyone. Obviously, Field's not super strong, but they added wins against Murray State, Hawaii, and Oregon State to their resume. And they got a trophy. And Bryce Williams is a stud. I don't care if it's his sixth year in college. Nebraska is going to be a good team, and I think they're probably a 8-9 seed in the tournament. And look for them to make some noise. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I like Nebraska, and like you said, Bryce, what was his last name? Williams.
Bryce
Yeah,
Williams.
he's a stud. We actually got to see him play in person, probably his true senior year, and he was a stud there too. But I'm actually kind of surprised on how well they're playing without what's his name on A&M? Wilders?
CJ Wilcher.
Yeah, CJ Wilcher. I thought he was a very important piece to that Nebraska team just because he was just lights out from three. And it's rare to find a guy that is just like you can catch it and get a quick release off like that. And it's like, it's weird that everyone thinks it's going in. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, Mackie, like you said, I think that this Nebraska team is someone not to mess with late into the season, February going into March, because this team catches fire. They could be scary. What do you think?
They could have went out there to Hawaii, rolled over, went 2-1, and nobody would have talked about it. But I think it was just the part that I was impressed. They went in, they won 3 games, took care of business, and looked good doing it.
Yeah.
They were supposed to win this tournament, and they did easily.
Yeah. Well, hey, business is business. That's what you're supposed to do. John, do you have any insight? DP?
Yeah, like Maggie said, the competition out there wasn't great, but they did what they were supposed to do, as IU seems to not be able to do it in the year, handle opponents that they should beat, Nebraska, they came out, they went out and they won a tournament early in the year. And as Maggie said, Bryce Williams is a stud. I mean, I watched them against IU this year, and they got shooters all over the floor. Bryce Williams, I think, had like 30 points.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, but the question for me for Nebraska is when he's not going, do they have other guys that can pick up? And I mean, he brings his son off the bench, Hoiberg, and I just can't believe that kid's even playing Division I basketball. I'll be honest, it seriously bothers me. And Outside of that, though, this Nebraska team's going to be all right. They're going to be an 8-9 seed in the tournament, in my opinion. Right middle field, right there with Purdue in the Big Ten.
DP.
I love the little dig, John. Um, but yeah, I mean, kind of just really what everybody else is saying. I'm going to start tuning in to some more Nebraska games, definitely, especially with the way that they played in this tournament. I mean, as John said and Max said, that when you go into a tournament you're supposed to win and you handle business, that flight back home to Lincoln is probably like, hey, we took care of business finally. Like, let's have a great Big Ten season, and expect them to do it. I definitely wouldn't want to be a team on the one line coming off that and having to play them at like an 8-9 seed.
Yeah, I agree.
This team is lethal at home too. The vault's an electric atmosphere. Nobody even mentions it. Nebraska didn't lose at home at all last year, and they're undefeated so far this year at home.
Yeah,
That's crazy, actually. I
that's
did.
because they had Casey last year, dude.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
he was electric. Where's he playing nowadays?
Who knows? Not me. But
Yeah.
guys, we're to the point in the season where it's getting down to the nitty-gritty and conference play is starting to come. Now, I love it personally because we already talked about how winning, especially like in the Big Ten, winning on the road is going to be so difficult. But I love this is because we're going to get juicier money lines for the road dogs. And I'm interested, John, and I'm interested on betting any road dog against IU or Purdue this year. You can feed me anyone that is plus money in the Big Ten to beat either of these two teams at home, and I can't wait to see the line when Purdue's playing in Mackey because I'll be hammering some teams.
Friday night, your first chance. Ohio State's at Michigan State.
Yeah. If they're dogs, I'm taking them.
Oh, they're going to be dogs.
Yeah. Mackey, what do we think on this conference play starting up, buddy?
It's there's going to be a couple conferences that you're going to want to tune in. I do agree with the road dog thing in the Big Ten for the most part. Pretty much any other conference though, Big 12 and SEC, I won't even be interested in playing road dogs, especially straight up on the money line.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I just think that the Big Ten is just like it's just known that you don't win away games.
It's different.
Yeah, it's just
It's
different.
different.
It truly is different. But boys, are you guys fired up for this conference play? Are we going to see some high level basketball games coming up?
I hope so. I think as Mackie said before, I think the Big East is terrible this year. But I think the Big Ten, I don't think there's an outlier. I don't think there's one team that's better than everybody else. So these teams are going to be battling out, 20 games through the remainder of the season. They're going to duke it out. Hopefully IU and Purdue wake up a little bit, and the Big Ten excites me a lot. And then the ACC, it's kind of starting to feel like Duke and nobody else. So, I mean, we'll see if there's a team that can get hot. Maybe Clemson's a team I look out for in that conference. North Carolina is always going to be North Carolina, but they're not. They're not looking too good so far this year. And then the SEC to me the best conference. I think that conference down the stretch of the season is going to be awesome between Kentucky, Florida, Auburn, Tennessee. I mean, it's going to be awesome to see how that conference plays out. And at the end of the day, great high level college basketball. We've got it already this year, so I'm ready for that to start picking back up here because pretty soon, boys, all we got is basketball. So
Yeah, right before we throw it over to you, kid. Oh wow. How did I just blank on what I was going to say? Oh my gosh, that's so poor and embarrassing. But DP, if it comes back to me, I might interrupt you here
Yeah,
in a
you're
second.
fine. Yeah, I'll just touch on the ACC a little bit. As
I remember. I remembered. No, it was John. It was. I think you're so right here, and the ACC is horrible. Like it's sad to see, and it's really sad to see that Miami's coach stepped away from the game. Legend, obviously.
Larinaga.
Yeah, absolute legend, and he's right. Guys are just chasing money, and it's killing recruiting. And it's. I just wanted to touch on this a little bit because I had Miami in the Final Four when they made it, and I mean, how do you leave that team? How do you not stay one more year and try to get to the national championship? It doesn't make sense to me. In an individual standpoint, I obviously understand, but he had 8 guys come to him after the season and say that they want to transfer. It's ridiculous. But then I wanted to touch on what you said about the Big Ten. And the two newcomers look like the strongest two teams in the Big Ten. UCLA and Oregon have surprised me this year. Though, I mean, the way that UCLA plays physical defense for 40 minutes is insane. And Oregon, I mean, they're putting the ball in the hoop. They're known for defense, pressing, running a zone occasionally. I'm surprised by these two teams, and I'll be honest, I think that one of those could have to be the favorite of winning the Big Ten this year. What do you think, kid?
Yeah, I mean, Mick Cronin just gets the job done all the time. I know he doesn't have, as many accolades as other guys, but his teams like to play for him, and they will do whatever they need to do for him in order to win basketball games. And I think that's the type of culture that coaches are trying to build now, but it's tough with transferring. Obviously, with Jim Larinaga saying what he had to say about NIL and guys leaving after going in the Final Four. Like, if you'd have said that eight guys wanted to transfer back in 2012 after making the Final Four, you'd be like, the program's in turmoil. Like, what's going on? And it's just a new day and age, and it sucks because that just shouldn't be happening for them.
Do you guys think it's crazy to say that it's honestly starting to ruin college sports?
It is.
Like we're degenerates. We love sports. We're always going to gamble and watch them. But a lot of the old legends. Tony Bennett stepped away. Now Larinaga stepped away. Coach K is gone. Roy Williams is gone. Matt Brown, you just saw leave UNC. All these older coaches, old school guys. They can't keep up with this whole having to go pay guys and NIL money and recruiting and trying to get them to like them or pay them more than another school. And I'll be honest, to me, it's getting a little out of hand. Like every year, these superpower Ohio States, Oregons, all these teams are going out and getting the best portal quarterback in the class, and then just like that, the national championship favorites again. And it's really starting to bother me. So all around though, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for leaving at all. And let's be honest, boys, they're pretty bad this year.
Yeah.
I obviously you see, Tony B, Coach K, Jim Larinaga. I mean, how many national championships, Final Fours has the ACC lost since the COVID season? I mean, they've lost all those guys, Mike Bray included. There's countless other ones that have just stepped away from the game because it's not the game anymore.
It's not the game anymore.
It's free agency, and it's nuts that it's came to this. And it's like, if you're able to field a roster for 4 years with the same guys, it's like you should be getting $1 million raise because they were able to keep a core together. And that's just not going to happen.
Completely agree. Now, Mackie, I seen you throw two matchups here in the script. Where are these games at, and who are your two teams to win?
So you got BYU and ASU on New Year's Eve opening up conference play in the Big 12 there. Obviously, ASU's first year in the Big 12. BYU, this will be year number 2, albeit with a new coach, Kevin Young there. The game is at BYU, if I'm not mistaken. Give me one brief second to fact check myself. Let's see. Yeah, it's at BYU. It's at the Marriott Center. Very underrated atmosphere. Obviously at elevation, so a tougher place to play. ASU's been a massive surprise so far to me. Bobby Hurley's got those boys playing good. He knows he needs to save his job, and it's tournament or bust. So, but in this game, I think high scoring, a lot of entertaining basketball, 3-pointers made. I think BYU does take it to open up conference play. And then Oregon and Illinois is out at Oregon on Friday night. In my opinion, two best teams in the Big Ten right now. I do like UCLA as well, but I would have them slightly behind these two. Well, I don't know who do you guys think takes this one home?
Yeah, so obviously me picking BYU to win the Big 12 earlier in the year. I'll be sticking with the Cougs. After a strong bowl win, first conference game at home, you can feed me the Cougars, John. Cougars basketball is not fraudulent, all right? Then this Oregon-Illinois game. Now this one, I will for sure be on DP's couch. I mean, this game is going to be awesome. Quack, quack. Oregon. The Ducks at home against Illinois. Brad Underwood, you're a nerd. DP?
Brad Underpants.
My friend.
The game is Thursday
Shout out
night
Lee
at 10 o'clock
Corso. Mackie,
Eastern,
you
by
just
the way.
ruined that whole entire thing, dude. You just ruined that whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Hey, John, who do you got then?
Give me Jasperis, and the Illinois Fighting Illini. You know, they're due for a big win. Guys, we're sitting here talking about how Oregon is one of the best teams in the Big Ten. We watched them at the beginning of the year, and we were talking about how they were going to get blown out in the Big Ten, and they were a horrible basketball team. I mean, I get it. They've had a few good runs, but reality is going to hit them when they get into Big Ten play. They're used to playing Pac-12 teams that are horrible. It's not physical. This is a whole new ball game for them. And when they got to play 18, 19, 20 games in a row against Big Ten teams, this team's going to fall apart. Starting with Jasperis in this game. Give me the Illini. Give me Kylan Boswell and the boys from Illinois. I think they win this game by 10 plus. I'll be sprinkling on the 10 to 20 band margin, and then it's not even a question in the other game. You know, BYU's fraudulent in football. I also believe BYU's fraudulent in basketball. I watched them absolutely get destroyed by Providence. So that was awesome to see because, of course, I was on the Providence money line because I'll never bet on BYU. So you can give me Arizona State in that game. And all around, not so fast, my friend. I think your takes are horrible. And shout out Lee Corso. Mackie ruined my little thing there, but that was awesome.
DP, what do we got here?
Yeah, you know, with this BYU Arizona State game, this game really intrigues me because for whatever reason, Bobby Hurley's team seems to always score 90 or 60. Like they're so on. I mean, I think they average around 84 a game or something like that. But like the times that I've watched them, it's either, you know, really high or really like mid scoring. And I just think that BYU at home is great at putting the ball in the hole, and they're just going to win this game. I got the Cougs at home, first conference game. And then I am with John. Give me Jasperis, and the boys. My Big Ten pick to win. Yeah, this game is going to end up in the hundreds.
Easily.
Each team's going to have 100 points in this game.
Easily. Quack, quack. Yeah, feed me the ducks.
Our boy Jasperis, and our guy from Oregon that saved us versus Portland.
Bellamy, baby!
Bellamy saved us versus Portland that night at about 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why that game started so late.
Or why that game was on the TV at 1 in the morning.
Well, it's not as bad as having Hawaii versus like UC Davis or something on the TV.
True. That's true.
At 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, give me the Cougs and Illinois.
All right.
Can I get a quick point here real quick?
Yeah, I guess.
So you guys all made fun of me at the beginning of the year talking about Bruce Thornton winning an award. Bruce Thornton, 33 again today. He's got 66 in his last 2 games, and he's got 4 30-point games on the year. So might be worth a sprinkle if you could find it this time.
Who'd they play? Franklin? Give me the Grizzlies.
No, they played the Sycamores. They played Indiana State.
All right, Mac, but we're going to toss it to you for the low-hanging fruit.
Episode numero uno. We're doing a different little format here. I'm going to give you guys one pick on this episode and then one coming out on Friday. So you can go ahead and toss me Washington plus 2.5 in the Sun Bowl on New Year's Eve. That will be pick numero uno.
You know, I was worried about the Hoosiers playing them this year. I was.
And we had a backup quarterback.
You love Taven Jackson, so don't start on that.
Transfer portal.
Transfer portal.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he's in the portal.
He's probably going somewhere like Central Michigan or Miami, Ohio.
He's poor, but yeah, like Mackie said, I like that pick, Mac. Plus 2.5 going against Louisville. Louisville will probably have a couple opt-outs at key positions. I just probably feel like their skill players are better than Washington's skill players. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I like that pick, Mac. Give me the Huskies plus 2.5.
Yeah, no Tyler Shuck, it looks like.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm confident with that 2.5, not knowing who's playing the game. So, what do we think, DP?
Yeah, that's a little rough. I took Louisville in this pool with my dad that we're in every year. We pick a bunch of bowl game winners and stuff like that. That just sucks about these games being so late in the year and you have to fill it out because guys will just opt out before the game. So that sucks. If Washington really doesn't have any opt-outs, then I love the 2.5. I mean, no Shuck is really bad for Louisville, but you know maybe Brom and the boys will get him to play. But he's also from Purdue, so probably not. So yeah, Mac, I love the Huskies pick.
No Tyler Shuck, no Ja'Cory Brooks. Your 2 best offensive players are out for Louisville.
Yeah, Washington.
Yeah, I don't hate it by any means. I'll be watching this game. I'm done betting on these meaningless bowl games, especially after UConn absolutely went in there and dismantled North Carolina. I mean, I could not believe it when I saw that was only a 2.5 point spread. Go figure. I go put $100 on it, and they get absolutely ran off the field.
Great showing for Bill Belichick.
So all in all, I'll be tuned into this bowl game. I think it'll be a good game. Washington's a little more physical than Louisville. Tyler Shuck's not playing. He was their best player. So we'll see what happens. But I personally be staying away from it. But I like it, Mac.
Yeah.
We'll throw one more nugget in there here on this pick. I just fact checked it. Washington leading the way with 0 opt-outs so far.
Beautiful.
Yep,
Feed me the
I love
Huskies. Well, that wraps it up for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Continue to keep watching. Beanie Boys out, guys.
Follow the Instagram.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.